Hi, I'm Kim McNeil. Thanks for checking out my website, kimmcneilyoga.ca. One of the specialties that I've developed over the years of teaching is therapeutic yoga, and even more specifically, yoga for arthritis. And I have quite a few students that have come to me wanting an extra sort of treatment or an extra way of managing their symptoms, because the conventional ways of either even doing yoga or other physical activity just isn't available for them anymore. And you know, it's a vicious cycle when you have arthritis, because the pain causes you to stop moving, and when you stop moving, your symptoms become aggravated. So I wanted to give you a sequence, a yoga sequence specifically today for the hands, that can help you to start to build your mobility back and your strength in a very gentle, mindful way. So, and even if you're not a sufferer of arthritis, even if you only spend a lot of time at a desk during the day, we know a lot of you out there are in that situation, or perhaps you're a massage therapist, musician, artists. Those are just a few. But if you've developed pain in your joints and your hands, then the sequence can help to build mobility back. So the first exercise I'm going to show you is a very simple fist exercise. So pretty simple that way. You're going to work to make fists with the hands. You can do one hand at a time, right? Or you can work through both at the same time. You want to keep the wrists out of it though, and work the fingers as far as you can. So if you can only bend at those joints a little bit, then that'll be the extent of the move for you. And then you can stretch back up, or go a little bit deeper. And if you're able to go all the way, then you'll finish that the fist position. So always when you're going through these this series of poses and exercises, you want to move through a comfortable, pain-free range of motion. And I know that can be a challenge for people with arthritis, but we're hopefully going to try to get to that place. So remember to breathe, that's important. The breathing sequence at this point isn't, we don't want to get too specific, but as long as you're taking some deep breaths, ideally through the nose, so you can keep the face relaxed, and moving slowly through the exercises, then that's all I want, right? So, fists first. Then we can work through what I like to call mudra action. So if you're familiar with yoga, Maha Mudra is a bind where you take, or a lock, where you take the thumb and index finger together. So we're going to do that, but we're going to work through, modified mudra, work through all the different fingers. So finger to thumb, so you'll go through the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and then that pinky. And of course, you might only get this far of the way, but see how little we use our pinkies sometimes, right? But it doesn't matter if you don't touch, but it's about working through that action, right? Nice and slow. Then the next thing that we can do are very simple wrist circles. So starting one direction, and if time's a factor, you can do both wrists at the same time. But I just like to isolate in one. So starting with some slow, smaller wrist circles on one side, breathing normally, evenly, and then building up or increasing your range of motion over time if it develops, right? You can go through some larger circles. And then of course you don't want to forget going in the other direction. Now the tendency is, especially if we are stiffer in the joints, or just because we're not used to doing it, we start to move other joints with it. So keep the rest of the body quiet, shoulders quiet, elbows quiet, and be mindful of working just through the wrists for this one. You can visualize too if that helps. All right, namaste. So pressing the palms together, trying to get every single part of the fleshy part of the hand, we'll say, so the fingertips, right, palms, mounds, to come together. So working as much as we can there, spreading the fingers out, and then you can also do variations where the fingers are together. Now, I prefer, this extra position or this extra stretch where the fingers are wide to try to get the joints to move a little bit more. But you can hold this for a few breaths. Once you start to tire, you can release and then do it again. And just like the mudras, or the finger to thumb touches, your strength might be weaker at first, so maybe one sequence with each hand is enough, and then you build up. The whole thing, I think, should only take 10-15 minutes a day to go through this process, and you can do it in your chair, standing up, wherever you are, right? So it doesn't need to be a big deal. The next thing that we can do is an interlocking of the hands. This one's a little bit more advanced, and can be more challenging if we have that strain, or that inflammation, I should say, in the hands. But if you keep it gentle, and we start to open the hands, and then moving gently where we turn the palms away into almost a Parvatasana pose in yoga, then we can start to open the hands this way, spread them out, and then very gently pressing the hands away from you. So we start to get into a forearm stretch and a wrist stretch. Okay? Remember, pain-free range of motion. So if this one isn't something that works for you, then skip it. And finally, give yourself a big hug. Reaching back, so still working to spread those fingers out. Shoulders down, moving down the back. Okay, so a little bit of an extra stretch now, not just through the hands, but working on the upper body, upper back, that space between the shoulder blades. But it can feel good on the hands when we reach back. Again, very gently. Maybe if you can't reach quite back here, you can work above the shoulders, or even rib cage or arms. Okay, so find a position that feels right for you. And check back soon, because I'll be posting more videos, yoga for arthritis, for other parts of the body too, that are gentle and accessible even through pain caused by arthritis. Happy yoga.